Hello everyone, I'm Brandon Marcello. This is Joel A. Erickson. It's a Sunday night. We haven't seen you in a while. Auburn's bye week is officially over. Auburn now preparing for South Carolina, a team that's fallen on some hard times. Obviously they're 4-3 overall. Had that one big one against Georgia, but nothing really else outside of that. But Auburn used the bye week to kind of figure some things out more with their personnel, polish a few things. We talked mostly to defensive coordinator Ellis Johnson on Sunday. We found out a couple of different things, some interesting things going forward.
Yeah, some stuff that we already sort of knew too. I think first of all, at linebacker, it seems like the direction they're moving in right now is a three-man rotation with Chris Frost, Casanova McKenzie, and Justin Garrett. Justin Garrett, as far as I know, is only going to play the weak side. When he's in there with Frost moves into the middle. That's what he did against Mississippi State. But really, Ellis didn't say anything like this, but that indicates that he just wasn't happy with the production they were getting from Trey Williams and Anthony Swain. Maybe it's not the production so much as he wasn't happy with the busts that they had when those two were in the game.
And he also likes Justin Garrett because, I mean, from just the standpoint that he's a great athlete, and he wants to put his 11 best guys out there in some position. And he said just watching Justin Garrett on the sideline for 55 snaps a game is not the best way to utilize him.
They can do this thing too where his experience playing star now, there was a couple times against Mississippi State that Mississippi State went 4 wide and Garrett moved out into the slot and lined up on a man on a guy, and Frost and McKenzie don't do that. So that kind of adds a little bit of something they can do there. He hasn't been great necessarily man-to-man coverage, but he can do more than a normal linebacker.
You can also look at those tight ends, and Ellis said that maybe not see it that much this week, but in the future as they develop more, that would obviously give Justin Garrett some more snaps out there.
Think Ole Miss, Texas A&M.
Right, when they get these guys that go with 4 wide receiver sets. Also on the defensive front, the big question every week is, when are you going to get a pass rush? When are you going to get a pass rush outside of the blitzes and the creative things you're having to do? Obviously they're trying to develop some guys, but they've gotten to a point now where they're moving people around. Elijah Daniel, much like last season, is moving inside to help get more of a push there. But also what was interesting is that Brandon King, who is getting maybe 2.8 snaps, I think is what you've had for his average, they're going to move him more in pass situations on 3rd and long at defensive end and see if they can utilize his speed a little bit more, similar to what they did with Rashid Kenyon early in the season before he got injured and banged up a little bit.
Yeah, King's kind of a weird he didn't play on defense in the first 4 games, then appeared against LSU. So really, his average is 2.8. That kind of reflects that beginning. But in reality, it's really for the last 2 games he's averaged 8 or 9 snaps, mostly in that 3-man front.
He had 10 against Mississippi State. So
moving Daniel inside, they did that last year. Gabe Wright and Montravius Adams are really their only.
Yeah.
I mean, Angelo Blackson has a sack and does some stuff like that, but those are the pass rush guys. So that makes sense. Moving King to the outside, I wonder how much we're going to see that.
Yeah.
They just don't have a guy who really bends the edge. I expect to see a lot of blitz. I think they're going to have to do it with the blitz. If you look at their sack totals right now, I actually don't have them all off the top of my head, but most of them have come. I think more than half of them have come from either defensive backs or linebackers.
Yes, they have. Yeah.
More than half of them have come from either defensive backs or linebackers. Yeah. That's going to have to continue. They just, unless they start getting some sacks from the interior line, it's just not going to come from the edge. Yeah. Daniel was probably their best guy there. Lambert does a good job with hustle plays. Like, he's going to close down in the pocket, but he's not going to bend the edge like that. Jamel President's kind of the same way, or Jameel President. I forgot we learned how to pronounce his name. They just really haven't gotten that, so they're going to have to use the blitz. It's just, they're going to try some guys at the end. We might see more of it. That's always interesting to hear this and then go back and look at the snaps. There's a lot of stuff we talked about in the camp that didn't really ever materialize.
Yeah, Elijah Daniel, it seems he gets close at times. He's got 6 quarterback hurries, which co-leads the team right now, and he's tops among defensive linemen. He just doesn't close fast enough, and that's an issue. It just seems like these guys are so close and they can't do it, and it's because they just don't have that, I hate saying gear, but they don't have that extra gear to get to the quarterback in time, and it's really hurt them. But they've been helped by so much because they're able to do some different things in blitzes.
The key is, when Ellis was asked tonight about if they're going to shift the scheme or anything like that. Realistically, Auburn scheme formation-wise is really simple. They're going to run the 4-2-5 most of the time. They'll mix in that 3-man front. They do some dime stuff. That's pretty much what they do. The variation comes after the snap. They've brought literally every position on the field at this point. At one point or the other, they blitzed Halsey from a free safety position against Mississippi State. That was the last position outstanding. That's where the variation comes. So don't look for them to come out with some random. They also have a 5-man goal line front, but don't look for them to come out with some random formation we haven't seen yet. They're going to do it within what they've got. There's going to be some changes in personnel. The scheme is built so the flexibility comes after the snap, not before the snap.
So there you go. Much of what you've seen is what you'll get in the future, but you might see some different spices thrown into the mix, into the ingredients. We'll see if that actually transpires. We'll see if we'll see Brandon King more. We'll see if they try to put Elijah Daniel more inside than outside, but that's nothing really new. But you wonder if one of these guys, like a Devontae Lambert, if at this point in the season the light clicks on for him or something, but this second bye week, it's got to happen here this next couple of weeks, or it's not going to happen at all because it's 6 straight weeks of facing top-tier opponents, and the time of developing is kind of over. Polishing has happened, and this is what this team's going to be going forward. So much more coverage on the defensive fronts, all defensive fronts, and
even the one in Western Europe.
Oh man,
that was a really bad joke.
Oh.
There's going to be more coverage at AL.com.